everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. Thank you for joining me today on a Thursday when I don't normally have a video, but I missed my Tuesday, so I figured I'd add an extra one this week. My project today is, I'm thinking it's a Mother's Day box, but I used the Cheerful Daisies stamp set. They didn't have a Mother's Day sentiment here, but you can put one of your own if you want to. It lifts up just like this with a Velcro dot for the closure, so you don't have to undo the pretty ribbon there. And inside it says your friendship means everything, but you could add a Mother's Day sentiment. This would be so cute for Mother's Day dinner if you put them on the table, or even a shower would be beautiful, or some type of party. I used, of course, the Cheerful Daisies stamp set and the Cheerful Daisies dies, along with the All That dies for this oval for the sentiment. All right. I also use the DSP, is the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. And let me show you what you need. Okay, we need a piece of Bubble Bath DSP that is 9.5 by 4.5. Okay, the die cuts I cut out. The daisy, it's this big daisy that's in the 3 daisy pack with the leaves. And of course the leaves are all from this one. I did 2 with old Olive Cardstock and 1 with soft Seafoam. The daisies are from the thick basic white cardstock. Okay, and the center is from Bubble Bath. That's this one. And that's it for those die cuts. All right, from the Bright and Beautiful DSP, we need 4 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 3/4 for the sides, and 3 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. Okay, so it's 4 and 3. 4 for the sides and 3 for the top, inside the top, and the inside top. Okay. I also used, as I said before, this oval die from the All That dies. And I'll put them to the side. This is my host code. If you would like to purchase anything from my website that is under $150 total, please put that in, and I would appreciate that. All right, let me get my Simply Scored, and we're going to start on the 9.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 2.5, 3.5, 6, and 7. Then we're going to turn it to the 4.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1 and 3.5. Okay, now I'm going to fold and burnish all of the score lines. Okay, if I didn't mention it, it's 2.5 by 2.5 by 1. Okay. So now what I want you to do is turn it in the landscape, the portrait mode. All right, so there are 2 1-inch strips on either side, and they're the same either way you put it. So we're going to start on the bottom here, and this is what we're going to do. Okay. Oops. All right, so we're going to start on the left. And we're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the second score line. We're going to get rid of this rectangle on the bottom, oops, and wedge each side of the square. Okay, now we're going to go to the next score line. I'm going to cut it to the second score line, get rid of this rectangle on the bottom, and wedge each side of the square. Okay, so now we're going to turn it so that flap is over to the right. And over here on the left, we're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line, and then wedge each side of the square. Okay, now we're going to turn it so that the flap's on the left. And we're going to go to the second score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square. So all we did now is cut both the tabs out of the rest of it. All right, and this is what your cardstock should look like after you're done scoring it and cutting it. Okay, now we need liquid glue, and we're going to work on these tabs here in the middle of the two pieces, not including this, okay? So we're going to go on these tabs, and we're going to attach them to the part that has this flap. All right, so let's put a little bit of glue on the tabs. Okay, and we're going to take the score line on the tab and match it with the side of the rectangle that's attached to this flap. Okay, and just make sure that the score line and the side of the rectangle match up nicely. Okay, and then we're going to take the other rectangles that are on the other side of the tab, and we're going to connect them over this rectangle. So close it and make sure that all four sides are going just as straight. And then the other side, you just have to make sure that the bottom, the bottom here and this upper side and the back are all straight with each other. They might not be exact because it has to go around the score line, but just so that it's straight with it, and that's fine. All right, and then you just push these tabs down, and that's your box. And I think this can be used for so many little favors. It would be so sweet. You can make it in primary colors for a birthday or something like that. All right, so now we need our pieces of DSP. Again, we have 3 that are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. It's going to go on the front, on the inside of the flap, and on the front of the body of the box. Okay, and then the pieces that are 2 1/4 by 3/4 are going to go on all 4 of the outsides. Okay, and I'm going to use liquid glue for this. Okay, and that's the finished box. All right, let's let that dry. Okay, I'm going to get my silicone mat and the flower pieces, and I'm going to attach the top piece on to the daisy, and I'm going to do all of this with liquid glue. Okay, and I match them up by looking for the shorter ones, which I have on the top. And I'm just going to pat it with the tissue because sometimes, whoops, the glue does seep out and I want to get it right away. Okay, now for the middle, I'm going to take a sponge and some bubble bath ink, and I'm just gonna ink the edges of it just so it has a little bit more dimension. Okay, and then I'm gonna glue it right over the middle. Okay. Now I'm just going to wipe that off. Okay, now I'm going to get my box and I'm going to add my Velcro piece so that it helps it stay closed while I'm working. So these are 3/8 inch adhesive Velcro dots. You want to get the low profile because if you get the regular ones, they'll be too thick. So you want the low profile ones. And then that's one side, and then I'm going to put the other side on with the sticky up. And then I'm going to close it, make sure your sides are straight, and then just, oops, don't push too hard. Push gently, pull it up, and reinforce them. Okay, now this will be closed, and it makes it a little bit easier to handle. All right. So we're going to put some dimensionals and mini dimensionals on here. Just like that. I'm going to put a regular dimensional in the middle and then some minis. And I'm going to put it kind of a little bit slanted. A little bit this way. So the smallest ones are over here. The smallest petals. All right. Now I left the little veins in there. You don't have to. You can pop them out if you want to. But I'm going to snip off anything that's below that third little leaf. You probably don't even need the third little leaf. And I'm going to put this down about right there. And then this one so that they're kind of opposite each other like that. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on them. Stick them in just like that. And then these are the soft Seafoam, and the darker ones are Old Olive. And I'm just going to stagger them just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put the other two that are, all right, I'm going to have to take that part off because there's a, oops, I cut it in half. So I'm just going to put these two in. Oops, the middle fell out of this one, but that's okay. Makes it interesting, right? Like this. I could stick that in because there's a little glue. Oop, that's upside down. Now, we're going to stamp our sentiment, and this is from the All That Dies. It's an oval that's about 1 3/4 inch long, and bubble bath ink again, and the sentiment that says, "Your friendship means everything." And I'm just going to pop that in there. Okay, so now I'm going to lift up the top and we're going to attach our sentiment. I'm just going to put that on with liquid glue. Okay, and while we're waiting for that, I'm going to take some glittered organdy ribbon. And we want it on the right side. So I'm going to have it come out this way, and we want it towards the top a bit. And then I'll just tie a bow. Just make sure that it's not twisted on the bottom. And make a loop, come around the back, and then stick the other loop through. There we go. And most of the time it'll behave, but you need to fiddle with it no matter what. Okay. Okay, then I'll just clip the ends. They don't have to retie that, so that's fine. Let me take another one of my lip balm tins. And you could probably put this in with a little bit of shred. Or if it doesn't bother you that it moves a little bit, then you don't have to worry about it. Alright, now for the final touch, I'm going to be using some Pearl Basic Jewels and my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to put a large one on the daisy and then a small one right next to it, and then a medium one up here on that. Oh, maybe I'll put them up one. Yeah, I'm going to move it up. There we go. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, my email is below, along with the links to my shop and to my blog that has all the measurements. Alrighty, have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow for Friday's video. Bye.